Hey guys, Tbull here. Today we got to look at the Tier 7 Japanese gunboat destroyer. That's right, Akizuki. We got Kurita, Bay, Sims. That's my standard destroyer build in terms of inspirations. Bay, best boost to the concealment. Sims, huge boost to the health. If you compare the percentage boost that Sims provides to your destroyer, it's going to basically blow away any other percentage increase or decrease to whatever stat you're trying to affect with any other perks. So, talk me out of those. I have yet to hear a compelling case to not use that on more or less every single destroyer. Kind of niche builds, maybe you want to go something else. Akizuki, we'll talk about it a little bit. We're going to be talking about positioning mistakes and mistakes in general in this game. There's quite a lot of them to hopefully learn from. But here we're on the Sea Cap North. Now Akizuki, this is the second Japanese gunboat, or destroyer line, I should say. It splits at the tier 5. I think it's Hatsuhara Shiratsuyu, if I remember. And then here we got it. But the first two, the tier 5, tier 6, whatever they are, those are more traditional torpedo boats. Okay, but this one, definitely individualized playstyle. Okay, kind of clunky in the maneuverability. And if you want to kind of spec for that build, maybe go for some rudder shift or something, that's fine. But you know, that's kind of one of the downsides of the ship. You do have a good smoke. You got basically full range Japanese torpedoes, so high speed, high detectability. But you only have one launcher. Double torpedo reload booster, though, so you can get basically 2 full cells. We got our arch nemesis as a destroyer, Fiji. These British light cruisers, if they're close to you in the destroyers, you're going to be very careful. So he's going behind the island. I'm keeping a very close eye on him. But look at this, the Akatsuki, tier 6 Japanese torpedo boat coming through here. Now we're going to expect a torpedo launch, especially since we're not seeing the guns go off immediately. I go ahead and test some AP there, but we know a lot of overpen, so go back to the HE immediately. You always want to test the guns, maybe not against destroyers so much, at least lightly armored ones like this. But this ship and a lot of the destroyers, you can get good AP shots, and look how quickly we take him down. Okay, we dropped spot. He was the one spotting us. The Colorado too far back. There's a couple sets of torps. We'll have the third one coming by here. We just backed up because we knew they were coming. And the Fiji, he might have gotten a little bit of a shot on there. But we're going to try and see if we can back in this cap. Now, mistake number 1. Okay, well, everyone that spawned on B, I guess they're going all the way to the west. But look at this. Our so-called support ships, they're going around this eastern side here. And this, basically every time we're on north, we talk about how big of a drag it is when your teammates go over there. Because they can only cover you when they're sticking through the gap in the middle, and it takes a few minutes to get there. Meanwhile, here we got a Fiji fighting the destroyer who's trying to cap the base. They could easily whack him. Imagine if the King George is sitting down there just south of that big island. He's got AP loaded. Fiji sticks his neck out. Boom. Fiji's game is over. His life has ended. No, he can't shoot him, though, because he's got that giant island between him. And it's going to be several minutes until he gets back into position. So, never, ever, ever go over there. 99 out of 100 games. You don't ever want to go over there. Maybe once in a blue moon, you know, have a whack at it. But now what's going on here? Got to keep an eye on Fiji. We note due to the torpedo indicator being 8.1 expected launch and his position 9.1, he was coming towards us. We can also see that on the map there. So we launch, hoping to catch him if he's coming in here. We're trying to capture this base. We also got a Biscuit who spawned south of B. For some reason, didn't want to actually attack B. Note both destroyers on red are dead at this point in time. So B is a free cap if the destroyer wants to get it. But he's coming over here. That's fine in this case because he should be able to spot the Fiji. And now the guys, the Edinburgh, got halfway up that gap. He got there relatively quickly. Normally it would take ships a little bit longer to get there. But we are spotting for him here, and we're seeing, do these guys scare the Fiji off? Do they turn him away from us? And it appears as though they might. If that's the case, then we can continue to sit on the cap, as we do. We're keeping an eye on the Colorado. If he gets close to us, the closer the support ships get, the more danger we got. But they're continuing to shoot the Fiji. We're spotting for him. And now that the Biscuit's coming around that island, and we're keeping an eye on the map there, once he comes around the bend, then we can probably go ahead and he opens up fire here. I mean, that's a little risky, but now that we know he's got a line of sight on him, we go ahead and pop the smoke. We want to try and whittle this guy down. And you'll see how quickly the damage can pile up here. We start off with about 14,000 health, or damage done thus far. And even though these are kind of relatively long-range shots, I mean, these are kind of floaty shells, you know, like the American gunboats. The further the target gets, the harder it is to hit them generally, but we can rain them down. Okay, this is not quite as fast reloading as the Friesland, but it's pretty close. Okay, I think it's about, what is it? It's about a second and a half on the reload, I think. So as long as we get these targets spotted, we can whittle them down pretty quickly. And we go ahead and get 5, 6, 7,000 damage on the Fiji, whatever it is. Scare him out of the smoke. He was trying to pop the smoke, sit there, use that offensively. But we've basically whittled him so far down that he's like, I got to get out of there. Okay, so we scared him off. And now we're saying to ourselves, okay, C is basically captured. Fiji at this point in time can't even push in there. Even the Biscuit could survive a 1v1 fight with them. And Colorado's backline, okay? And note the Edinburgh and the King George, they finally got around the edge there. 5 minutes in the game, they've got to their opening position. So it took them about a third of the game to get there, but they did get there. But now, Red's got A. They're getting B for free. And look at this. Basically, everyone on the team's coming over here. And this is a very common problem. Now, I think it's people like, they have the philosophy of safety in numbers, or they're scared to not be really close to their teammates or whatever. But C, we already control, and there's no threats to it. So why are we allocating more resources over to this side of the map? We should actually be moving from east to west in an effort to capture the middle, and then control the middle and C, and then defend the middle. Basically, you want to capture 2 caps out of 3, and then defend the most central one. But we continue to move ships to the east. That takes everyone out of position, and that can be quite a bit of a problem here. Blue has moved into A, so they're stopping the cruel points there, so we should get a little bit of background scoring. We're very close to the King George here. That's a major problem. As a destroyer, like the Fiji, like those British cruisers, King George, another terrifying ship. Why? Because normally 80% of the time it's going to have HE loaded, if not 90% of the time. Most players will only shoot HE in the King George, and at this range, it can easily one-shot us. Okay, so we had to take a little bit of a risk, but I did want to get the reset there. We got some torps heading his way. We're getting some gun shots in there. We're getting some fires. We did have that island in front of us there. Block the line of sight. Now, if we stop shooting here, we might be able... It looks like we actually were able to sail through there until we started shooting again. We actually dropped spot. But we want to get one more shot because we were, once again, just about to drop the spot. Note that cruiser to the northwest of us. That's going to become important there. And look at these guys. What are you doing? You know, let's get back to relevancy here. The middle is where this game is going to be won and lost. So I go back to spotting the King George here. He does have some shots coming in. Whittles him down. Now I zoom in and I'm going to say to myself, when does he shoot? There he goes and shoots. He shot the 2 front guns, so the back gun's still available. But the back gun, not likely to be able to one-shot us. We do slam with the brakes as well, and we actually dodge the full salvo. Switch over to AP since he's just about 45 degrees on the map. We're going to keep an eye on the damage output. And once those numbers drop, then we'll go ahead and switch back to the HE. And we see we do switch the shell there. Buddy goes down with some help for the friends. Do get spotted, though, because here's the Cleveland. That's that cruiser we were talking about. He comes around the bend right as we were shooting there, so we remain spotted. We're pulling down to the left here to drop spot once again. But Cleveland, of course, is a radar cruiser. And we are aware that he, you know, anytime there's a radar cruiser, you got to assume, unless we were close to them and we know they already played the radar, we got to assume they got it. And he's turning in on us here, so now we're turning around, getting away from him. Drop the torps, hopefully, or we tried to defensively drop them. But that's just in case we die here, because there's a pretty good chance we're going to die here. And now we're sailing away from him, right? We don't push into a Cleveland. He has much better fire output than we do. He can kill us very quickly. Sailing away makes it hard for him to hit us. As soon as he goes broadside, immediately switch over to the AP there. And keep an eye on the damage output. Now, good job by the team, even though I don't like their position. They did a good job projecting power into B. They shot the King George. They shot the Cleveland, so that kind of makes up for the positional mistakes. I still don't think they need to go over there. Another mistake. Look at what's going on here. We got a third of our team chasing a ship up into the Arctic Circle. Strategic value of the Arctic Circle on this map, 0. There's actually no reason to be that far north. But we're sending 1/3 of our ships chasing a guy who's completely irrelevant to the outcome of the game. Very, very common. Okay, now this is indicative of people who don't actually care about winning or don't know how to do it. all they want to do is shoot things. Okay, I get that. And if that's all you want to play, that's your right. But for those of us trying to win the game, it's kind of an eye-rolling moment every time it occurs because you're actually hurting the game or hurting the team. The guy in the red, the ship all the way to the northeast that they're chasing, that's a brilliant play. If you can pull a third of the enemy team, even though sure you're going to die sooner or later, but if you can take them out of the game 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes while they chase you, now they'll kill you, they'll get your points, but then they have to turn around to get back to relevant positions, and that can absolutely throw the game. So even though it looks like we're up massively on ships, a lot of our ships are completely mispositioned here. And if they kill the guy in A, they kill me, they capture B perhaps, the game can get a lot closer than it looks pretty quickly. So very common mistakes by the two guys that spawn by us. Number one, don't go all the way to the east side of this map. It's very hard to project power from there, and it takes you out of the fight. And don't chase ships off into Timbuktu, okay? So just pay attention to the map, pay attention to what's relevant on the map, and if you don't know, if you're new, draw an imaginary oval relatively tightly around the 3 caps, A, B, C. Maybe a square around each of those. Now, you don't have to necessarily be in those, but the closer you are to that zone of control or that zone of relevancy, the more profitable your positioning is, the more control you have over the actual parts of the map that matter, and the higher your win rate will go. Okay, if you keep making these positional mistakes that we've seen here, that's when your win rate will plummet. Okay, so easy to fix, just pay attention. No harm, no foul, though. The people on our team that were in the right spots, we're doing a pretty good job this game. And here we're going to see, just how much firepower we can pump out of the Colorado. And here's a good point to make here. Okay, Colorado blind fired here. He missed short. Blind firing is tough. And basically, if you're trying to do it, always aim a little bit lower. Well, not always, because I think he aimed lower than he even needed to do there. But in general, I aim slightly lower than where the gun bursts are emanating from. But my point that I'm trying to make is if your opponent is attempting to blind fire you, that's not a play that a lot of players will even try and make. So once they try and do it, give them a little bit of respect. And if they actually hit you with the blind fire, then you gotta say to yourself, okay, this guy knows how to aim, this guy knows what he's doing. Stop firing your guns. Okay, I've done it many times on this channel. You can kill guys that think they're safe sitting in the smoke. It takes some practice. Yeah, it's not easy to do, but once you learn how to do it, you can demonstrate very quickly to these guys how screwed they are going to be if they think they're safe. So if anyone ever hits me when I'm sitting in the smoke shooting, I will stop firing unless I think I can kill them very quickly or I got support from the team. And combined, we can kill them quickly because that's a good player that will end you very quickly. So just a note there, yeah, he didn't hit us, but wanted to make that point as it was available to be made. So anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this game. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Lots of World of Warships coming all the time. Questions, comments, leave below. Love to hear from you guys, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.